Hey everybody, this is BiggWiggs, and welcome to Pillars of Eternity. This is a massive computer RPG, really in-depth, really in-depth, lore-heavy, tactics-based RPG. It's not something I would normally do, but after doing things like Bloodborne and then Axiom Verge, I kind of wanted a bit more of a thinking game to play around with. It's also a very long game. So I'm not sure if this will be like a full Let's Play, or if this will just end after this one session. Depends how, I don't know, depends how many people watch it. And even if it doesn't end with this first session, it might end with maybe 2 or 3 sessions. So we're just sort of, we're working out, we're making it work. I did want to show off the game though. I have really enjoyed this game so far. We're gonna do a new game. Now, the, one of the things I did my first playthrough on normal. Maybe I shouldn't. Or maybe I did it on easy. Actually, you know what? I've had it load. Will it tell me? Nah. I have about 20 hours or so in here. I should really see if it's easy or normal. I thought about doing it on hard. We're gonna see if it's easy or normal real quick. That's what I'm looking for. Oh shit, I played this on easy. Heh. Whoa. Well, that'll be really awkward when I go to, play it on hard mode, then won't it? Yeah, we're gonna do this on hard mode, mostly because I'm not sure this will even last all that long, the playthrough. So it doesn't matter if I, fuck up and don't want to play anymore, because I'm not sure this will last to the end. Not really suited for Infinity Engine veterans who are looking for a challenge. Survival requires micromanagement and optimization of stats through items, spells, and abilities. Cool. I will tell you guys right now, I have a guide on my other monitor. Not like a guide, like a starting stats guide. That way, right off the bat, I don't gimp any of my characters. So yeah. So at least in this first episode or so, I shouldn't be gimping my characters. In theory. Maybe. Might start with the wrong one, though. Really might start with the wrong one.
5 wagons grope blindly for the path on a starless night, their master glancing ever upward to the skies for assurance that he is on the right course. A dim lantern his only protection against the encroaching darkness. But the skies bring no comfort, shining no light, betraying no hint of what they know. The caravan carries travelers bound for the frontier hamlet of Gilded Vale, you among them, where a local lord has offered land and wealth to settlers from abroad looking for a fresh start. You have taken suddenly ill, sweating and shivering, and one of the other travelers signals for the caravan master to stop on your behalf. He pulls up just in time to avoid plowing into the trunk of a fallen tree that bars the way ahead. You will go no further tonight.
Ooh, plot. So traveling to settle a new land, or not settle a new land, just live somewhere new. And now we get to build all of our characters. Ooh, look at all of our characters. That's it. No, it's all up here. Normally this would probably take roughly an hour if you were reading everything, but I have a guide here. So we have to choose, this is our starting character, this is the character we control. If our character that we control dies, it's game over. If, this character will also determine what we can do in conversations. For instance, if we're super strong and ripped, we can threaten people and that'll make them really scared. If we're super smart, then we'll have options to different, like, intelligence-based things. You're getting what I'm pointing at. Our other companions, which we'll also be customizing ourselves, their stats matter in combat, but outside of combat and dialogue choices, that doesn't matter at all. Or they don't matter at all. But our character, this one that we play as, who we are, will most definitely matter. Male or female? That's always a tough choice because I don't really care either way. Fuck it. We'll be female. And we are going to be Orlan. We're going to be short. And there's sub-races as well. We'll probably be seeing a lot of these. What's godlike? Oh, that looks cool, right? And then there's shitloads of godlikes. And then we have elves. Whoop. Shitloads of subclasses and races and stuff. But Orlan gets extra resolve. -1 might, but +2 perception. And that's what the thing says we're going to use. So, boop. Specifically, the Hearth Orlan. That gives us our class ability minor threat when attacking any target that is also being targeted by a teammate. Hearth Orlans convert some of their hits into crits. I believe it's misses, grazes, hits, and crits is how it goes along. And that's what it means when it says convert some of this into this. So every time we hit somebody, there's a better chance it'll become a crit as long as they're also being targeted by a teammate. Which is going to be very good because we are going to be, well, maybe not good right away. We'll see. We'll see. This is all of our classes. There is a lot of classes. And in fact, this starting stats guide is probably like 20 pages long on how to use each one. We're going to go rogue, though. Aw, shit. Starting ability, Sneak Out applies bonus damage to rogues' range and melee weapons attacks when the target has the following afflictions. There's blinded, flank, hobbled, paralyzed, paralyzed. All these things, except for flanked, can be applied via class abilities. You know, like, this attack will inflict damage and hobbled, or something like that. Flank, though, is just when you're surrounding somebody. And as you can see, all these little things do have certain tooltips. Paragraphs of tooltips. And it also applies any target with the rogue strikes weapon within the first 2 seconds of combat, which is pretty good because enemies don't have to be surprised. It's just, I'm here first, stab. It has more stealth and more mechanics. Endurance, very low, just in case you thought 36 was high. It's not. Health, which is low. Accuracy, very high. Deflection, low. And deflection affects the miss, grazes, hits, crits little ratio I was just mentioning. High deflection will, of course, lower that down the chain so that you'll have more misses. So as you can see, they can't really dodge. They have lots of accuracy, which affects their combat greatly. And not much else. You don't see any things like, this is how much damage they deal, because that doesn't necessarily matter. Accuracy is actually what that is about. So now we can build up our character, because they have high accuracy, into being really, really damage dealing. And we have our actual abilities. Guide says to take Blinding Strike, although it does give reasons why. So, Hobbled is just not as good a stat as Blinding Strike, because Blinded, accuracy is reduced by 25 for all sources. Perception is reduced by 4, movement is reduced by 2, reflex and deflection is reduced by 20. Deflection is important because when the target is blinded, they can no longer dodge our attacks, force us to miss. Also, with their accuracy lowered, our squishy rogue won't be murdered. That's how I'm spinning it anyways. 1 per encounter, because there's no like mana meter. Just means that per battle I can use this once per battle. There are other abilities that can only use once per rest, which is like once per camping or once per sleeping at an inn. I would like to mention that I played this game in easy mode and it was very difficult in the beginning. I'm now playing on hard mode and it will be a very quick savey experience. I have played 20 hours of it, so I'm not exactly super new to the game, but we'll see. This is all of our stats. Now, it gives us a little hint about which stats are best. Might and dexterity. Might affects damage, dexterity affects your attack speed. Highly recommended for rogue. Yes, it's very good. Everything else, everything starts out pretty well balanced, and it takes away from class abilities, so, you know, we have slight extra resolve. Everything starts at 10, and then it's class buffs and minuses. Orlons start with minus might, so we start at 9. They have plus 2 perceptions, that's 12, and they have plus 1 resolve, so that's 1. However, we want 17 might. That's maxed out. Orlons cannot have more than 17 might. We also want maxed out dexterity. Ooh, looks like they can't have anything more than that. The identify archipelago bonus included. So that's when it gets to the culture. Which means we also want 3 constitution, because we can rebalance that as well. Now we have 18 dexterity. Whoo boy. That's a little bit scary to do. Perception should be 11. Int should be 18. Resolve should be 10. There's our character. Constitution, just in case you want to see, affects endurance and health. Endurance and health are... I'll explain them in combat. Attack speed, perception affects, interrupt, how much you can interrupt somebody. Maybe I should just read it before I just try to remember off the top of my head. Perception represents a character's senses as well as their instinctive ability to pick up on details. And interactions can be used to catch someone in a lie, to make an observant comment about their appearance, or to notice something happening in the background. In combat, it contributes to deflection and reflex defense, and grants a bonus to interrupt. So interrupt basically makes enemies flinch, which knocks them out of their attack animation. Deflection, I just mentioned, is what converts, you know, will make crits into hits, which will make hits into grazes, and grazes into misses. At least I think that's how it works. It's based defense against single target attacks. Reflexes is defense against AoE attacks. Because, you know, you can dodge out the way. So that's fairly low. Intelligence effects. Whoop, can you just... Here we go. Characters' logic and reasoning capabilities and interactions can be useful for deduction, sudden realizations, and problem solving. In combat, it contributes to the will defense, which affects things like mentally based spell that mentally paralyzes the target. It basically affects status effects in a lot of cases. At least that's what I've experienced. And influence durations and area effects for all abilities and talents. Recommended for Rogue. So this makes our area effects 50% bigger because we have really high intelligence. Whoop. Makes all of our skills last 40% longer. And gives us extra will, in general. And Resolve is just affects the character's internal drive, determination, and fearlessness, and the emotional intensity they can project to others. It can be used for mental intimidation, leadership, and convincing performances. In combat, it helps characters maintain concentration and contributes to the will and deflection defenses. So more defenses. But this is our character for now. Next. Yes, it's a very squishy character. That constitution is a little bit scary. And this is with the Deadfire Archipelago bonus. So this increases our dexterity +1. We can also base this off of the weapons we want, but it's very important to do this with... I don't think there's any specific weapons that I desperately want. Ooh, I might want this one. Mainly because I'm looking at the weapons. This rogue isn't going to be a sneaky stabby rogue. It's going to be a rogue that sits literally right behind a tank and stabs people. Which makes this quite awkward to make as the first character, but I don't want to try it. This would also be alright, but I would rather have either more perception or more dexterity. The guide recommends more dexterity. But the only thing this changes is certain... This will change certain talking bits you can do. And actually it's supposed to be a two-handed weapon, so I'm not sure you can use a shield. Yeah, it's a short spear. We'll go with Deadfire Archipelago. And then there's a bunch of lore here. We'll just ignore that, because it's not entirely relevant to the main plot of the game. And then, this is even further background. So now we can have different... These are not stats, like up here. These are merely extra abilities and stuff you can learn. It makes sense for more athletics and stealth right here. Make a lot of sense, actually. Athletics affects how long it takes for you to get fatigued. And stealth affects, obviously, stealth. But it's not necessarily necessary. Increased lore, survival, labor. Mechanics is actually really useful. Survival. These characters make better use of the food and potions items they find. The higher the character survive, the longer the duration of such items. And athletics. Yeah, we'll say we are a slave. And now we have looks. This is actually... affects like small shirt details. Affects also our skin, so we can have blue skin if we want. Whatever, we'll have blue skin. Also our hair color. Blue hair if we want. Be like super... I don't want to say super emo, because it's not necessarily super emo, but... It's the swoop that does it, I think. Then we have head appearance. Facial hair, none, because we're a girl. How racist. Could go for afro. Bald. Oh, the mohawk. Might be mohawk. This works. We'll accept that. And then we can choose our portrait to see if we can find anyone that looks like us. They only have like 3 Orlon women portraits. So it's a little bit awkward because none of them look like us. Or we can just go like, hey, this guy. We'll go with this guy. Then we have voices.
Yeah? Leading the way. Let's keep quiet.
They can be feisty.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I shall lead us. Let's go.
Quickly and quietly.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Follow me.
They won't see me coming. Yes?
We'll do Sinister. So next, Our character's name, I have not thought about this at all. Which is a bad thing. Because usually I have to think about these things. It's basically us. Whatever. What am I talking about? It's totally TinyWigs, the horribly underprepared for this. There we go. TinyWigs. That's an old series. Also, an unpopular one. Done! And now we have cutscenes. Not really a cutscene. I can skip most of it, I think. But lose all of the lore. There's like 80%. Not 80%. There's a lot of talking. The caravan master finishes addressing the group. His bushy red must-sagging jowls quivering as if for emphasis.
Everybody stays close to the wagons, got it? Stay out of the woods, and beasts take you if you were planning a stroll through those ruins up there.
He nods towards a looming black mass on the hillside.
Whole area's crawling with hut-dwelling types who'd be happy to stick an axe in you for trespassing. So mind that you don't track mud on their sacred blazing rocks. Tonight, everybody stays put, and in the morning we'll get the path cleared. Gilded Vale's less than a day out. Understood?
At last, the caravan master turns to you, frowning as he looks you over.
Touch of the rumbling rot, could be. There's a stinging beetle round here, carries it. You'll be fine once it passes your innards. Unless you don't drink water, course. Which case you'll be dead in a day. There's a berry grows in these parts, small and pink, called a springberry, about the size of a fingernail. Give you cramps if you eat it, but the frontiersmen make a tea from it. Calms the insides. Should get you through the night. You might check around, see if you can find some. Meanwhile, I'll see if we can scare you up some water. I know you want to hunt before it gets much darker, but see about refilling our water first. Got a sick one here.
I hate that he actually talked before I could read this. Odom looks over his shoulder as this is a lanky, intense man named Sparfel, who carries an old sun-bleached bow. So he's telling him to get him some water. So now, I can talk to him. Where should I find those berries? I know where they are already. Where are those ruins? The ruins are actually really old ruins that crazy woodsman people worship. So if we get near them, the crazy woodsman people attack us. Is it dangerous here? Yes. What are these huge rocks coming up from the ground? They're supposed to be a certain type of magic rock.
They don't got Audra where you come from?
Audra.
Well, it just grows up out of the ground like this. Goes deep like tree roots. Some of it all the way to the heart of the world, you believe the stories. It's more like a shell than a proper rock. Easier to work if you're a mason. Got all kinds of strange properties. Seems to have some kind of life of its own. Dies if it gets dug up. Loses its luster. Folks think it probably grew at one point or another, but not these days. The soul butchers in Defiance Bay use it for different things. I've heard tell it can hold a man's soul, but I don't care to see it. Got enough to worry about without seeing something like that.
So these Audra rocks could potentially hold a man's soul. I'll go see about those berries then.
Take someone with you.
Fair enough.
I know you're not some helpless tenderfoot, not like most of this lot. But you drop dead, I don't want to be looking for the body. Got a schedule to keep.
He scans at the travelers, resting his eyes on a length of a sturdy armor-clad woman who has spent the journey's night sleeping on uneven ground without blanket or pillow.
Kalisha. Kalisha!
Kalisha! Watch that she doesn't drop dead.
No promises.
What kind of guide says something like that?
Kind you can afford.
Boom!
Don't listen to her, you're in good hands. And I pay too well, if anything. Off with you. Hayden should have supplies. See that you're equipped before you head out. We're in harsh country. Get your berries and hurry back. And if you get so much as a tickle of wind, you drop everything and you run. Something in the air tonight. If it's a Bewick, we'll shelter in the ruins. Hut dwellers be damned.
You heard the man. Let's get going before you keel over.
We are going to not have these tutorial messages pop up, I think. Party always consists of your character, and these are two characters.
Of course.
So this is also an RTS. Believe it or not. And it's actually a super... oh, man. We'll see what we can muster up. Caravaner. You who we want to buy something from. The man wearing simple neat clothes, he's trying to fix, however, by a ragged tear in the seam of his tunic.
Brought a whole wagon full of goods to sell, but not enough shirts for the road. Say, is there anything you need? I've got some basic...
I need something. Can't even afford it. I can afford all these basic weapons. Thankfully. Can't afford these armors, though. What I want, as I mentioned before, I want to be a person that stabs people from the back. I will buy me a pike. We have any resting tools? I don't think we ever will. We bring up our inventory. Inventory looks complicated. It's a little bit complicated, I suppose. Move this out of the way. You now have a pike. I mean, I suppose if we desperately need it, we can have these here as our second attack set. And you have a torch and a battle axe. I need you to move. I need you to move. Alright, so we have a pike, which is a two-handed weapon. We have no campfires. Well, what else do we have? Party. Nothing I can do here. As you see, I'm very squishy. So, health and endurance. Endurance is basically health that regenerates after combat. Health does not regenerate after combat. So having a lot of endurance is important if you're planning on getting stabbed a lot. You see, Kalisha over here is actually... Whoops, I selected her on accident.
Yes.
Is actually... Whoops, not what I wanted. I wanted... Character, C. Is a fighter, so she's actually our tank for now. I don't think there's anything else I need to do. I know if you talk to different people and do different things in this opening area, it will drastically change what happens in general. By the way, F5 for autosave. Or quick save. That's gonna be necessary. Do you have... No, you do not have abilities that I desperately need.
Well...
We have you here. Sparfell, you're gonna find us water later.
I'll have your water soon enough. Stream's not going anywhere.
What a douche. He's not even getting my water right now. He's in there smoking.
Let's check by those outcroppings.
Now we have wolves. Young wolf, young wolf. Combat uses a possible real-time system. Yeah! Stand here, please. You're gonna stand like here. Characters is engaged. So I'm pretty sure they do auto-attack. I can click you and then have you attack whoever. Important thing, though, is to have you attack the same person. And she took a little bit of damage, and it's going to pause every time it does that just to explain the tutorial. Should probably bring this up a little bit and sort of combat log. There we go. There we go. It won't be too bad. You can see this person tanks very well. Our spell simply isn't well suited. Attack hits in the air will wipe all small percentages of the incoming damage. You'll hear characters complain about when it happens. Take heed, note that damage types... Blah, 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 blah. Certain damage types deal better to different things. There's like 8 different damage types. This game is hardcore as fuck. It appears that my, Here we go. We're gonna use Blinded Strike on you. Lower that DR. There we go. This combo works well. This is why I wanted to use a rogue in the first place. There we go. We'll take all that.
I'll take care of it.
I'll take care of it. Yes. We found our berries.
This is it.
And then we can learn a little bit about Kalisha. Kalisha, slave. So what's a slave doing here in the free Palatinate of Deerwood? Guessing those marks on your back didn't come from a loving caress. So because we called ourselves a slave at the beginning, we'll have different dialogue options. And now we can explain our backstory to him. To her, I should say. Now, I mentioned this before, depending on what you say and answer, different things will happen in this tutorial. There's a chance that people survive and people don't survive. So we can choose who we want to be. For instance, we can say we aren't really a slave, we were an indentured servant. And then it says, I fled, had to leave my family behind. Took a long time, but my debt is paid. So I can be, we can say, hey, I'm a good person, but we're not going to do that. I'm a rogue. We're going to say I fled. Been a long time since I've been this way, but I always did like it. Lord Raedric's offer makes a girl think. I'll give him that. You were here to settle, like the rest of the lot. Yep. So Lord Raedric is offering people just land, if they want to live in this town. Hard offer to pass up. Got a big plan in store. Plan on getting filthy rich. I have no idea. I'm gonna get filthy rich. I'm wasting time here. Olma, give me an earful. Let's be on our way. So we can ask more about it, but I don't care. When hold my breath that Sparkle's getting you water anytime soon. He does what he feels like when he feels like. We should check up on him. Slap him around a little. Yeah, slap him around a little. We're gonna save, by the way. By the way, we can speed up time. What was the button for speeding up time? Go to half speed, or we can go to double speed. Double speed's useful. The game, you might say, combat double speed seems like a bad idea. The game has an extensive options menu about auto pause. For instance, combat time. Combat is auto-slowed when combat is engaged, and then we have a bunch of things when the game will just automatically pause. Let you know, hey, shit's going down. Like if a character is about to die, it'll pause, and when combat starts, it'll pause. All these other things could be quite useful, and I might need them for hard mode later. But for now, this is what I kept for my easy mode playthrough. And there's no reason to change it yet. Maybe. By the way, the difference between hard mode, easy mode, normal mode isn't the actual stats of the enemies. It's just the type of enemies and how many of them show up.
Sparfle went hunting. At least he left the water skins. Come on.
Yep. We're gonna pick these up. You crouch to the river bank and dip your water skin into the cool water while Kalisha waits nearby. Keeping watch, as you rise, you notice her look sharply towards the tree line. Out of the trees emerges Sparfle, one of the guides, barely discernible in the dim moonlight. He no longer carries his bow, and there is a strangeness to his gait. His stride wobbly as he moves towards you with labored breath.
Sparfle, are you all right?
Sparfle's toe catches on a rock, and he collapses his sword in a heap, the feathered shaft of an arrow planting between his shoulders like an enemy flag. Yeah, this one might actually be genuinely difficult, as
Ambush.
we're now surrounded. You are going to move back. Hunter, you're going to move back. We're going to retreat a little bit.
Yes.
Oh god, that is not good. We're actually going to start stabbing this man repeatedly. You're going to knock him down too. I'm going to really need you to knock this man down, please. Prone is just something that keeps them from dodging very well. Then you're both going to come over and attack this person. And then you're going to get a huge blinding strike so people can dodge. There we go. We scored a crit!
Come on, we have to get back to camp.
Then we can take all of this. Because why not?
As you wish.
As you wish. Man.
What is it?
Quick save. As you can see, her health has been permanently lowered, but her endurance is not. And it's not just a case of endurance is just a shield. It takes away from both health and endurance whenever you're attacked. My character, doing pretty well so far. I've done a good job protecting her in these, you know, not quite very difficult times, but it could be very bad. In fact, we might want to change up our formation soon, but for now, we're going to stick with this. Actually, we're heading entirely the wrong direction, because we have to go up this hill. Whoop! Attack you, and she has this knockdown attack, which is just so good. And you're going to attack him as well.
Well.
Tank's working quite well. Uh-oh. I'm not too concerned about this character yet. Or even at all, really. We both go attack there. This combat's quite easy. When we get into out of the tutorial, I should say, it's going to be a bit harder. So we have all these shields and things and stuff like that. I don't actually want these. They're quite shit. We'll take a hatchet, actually, and we'll take a medium shield for other characters. We'll take all this for other characters. Because as soon as we're done with the tutorial zone, we'll be making a full party of 6. By the way, we're going to quick save. Ah, my rogue's too far ahead. Glenn Fathen Leader.